Well, it's been called the most anticipated book ahead of the 2016 elections. Clinton Cash reportedly alleges that the Clinton Foundation took in millions of foreign dollars in exchange for favorable treatment while Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. If these allegations prove to be true, just how much trouble is Hillary in? All rise. You heard him. You saw him. Judge Andrew Napolitano is here.
Well,
this is serious stuff.
Well, it's very serious stuff. Now, I have not seen the book. The book will not be out until May 5th, although I understand that some of our colleagues at Fox will have it and will be commenting on it this Friday. Right,
and Brett's got a special that comes on Friday, Brett Baer on the Fox News channel. Apparently...
And the New York Times and the New York Post, admittedly a bizarre combination with us, are in the same boat. That they cooperated with the author, and we and the Times and the Post are vetting Washington Post. If I said New York Post, I misspoke. Washington Post, New York Times, Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton supporters both prior to this, and Fox News are vetting the book, meaning testing the accuracy and authenticity of the author's research and conclusions. Now, if the research holds up, if it is as it has been billed as being, it is far more serious, more solid, more closely aligned to the bribery statutes than what Senator Robert Menendez of our home state of New Jersey has been indicted for doing. In the Menendez case, he's been indicted for doing a lot of favors that members of Congress ordinarily do for constituents. In this case, a friend of his in Florida who's an eye doctor got the guy's girlfriends in on easy visas, and he negotiated sweetheart deals with Medicare for reimbursements. And in return, he received trips to Paris and the Dominican Republic, and he had campaign contributions made to Democrats in his name. The government's argument is that the gifts that he got influenced his decision to help this guy. Right. Listen to the case against Hillary as it's been outlined in this book. While she is the Secretary of State negotiating with the country of Colombia in South America, she is persuaded to change her mind on a particular issue, to go from
free trade agreement.
Free trade. That's a significant issue. Right. And at the same time that she changes her mind, her husband suddenly is asked to give a speech, which will be financed by these people at $500,000 a speech. And there's more. The investors in the Keystone Pipeline, which the Secretary of State under our crazy, wacky legal system has to weigh in on, and she was against that. Suddenly she's in favor of it when one of the investors in that pipeline contributed $1 million to their family foundation. So when you see this pattern, there's an actual timeline, I understand, in the book. Behavior by Hillary as Secretary of State, financial increase in wealth for Bill, financial increase in wealth for the foundation. Now, what should she have done? She should either have said to her husband, don't accept that money in the foundation and don't accept that gig. Or, if I can't control my husband, God only knows she can't control her husband. If I can't control you as my husband, then I'm going to recuse myself as the Secretary of State from making these decisions.
How can a Secretary of State recuse himself from these critical decisions?
These are about as critical as the Secretary of State makes.
You can't say, I don't want to judge this because I got a crazy husband who will take every nickel on the planet.
So here's the practical effect. We are not talking about helping our friends' girlfriends get in the country. That's the Menendez case. We are talking about changing the public policy of the United States of America on issues that could substantially affect the wealth of the country by the fourth highest ranking official in the federal government in return for a financial increase in wealth to her husband and to her family foundation. If that's not bribery, what is?
I can tell you, she had the job from 2009 and 2013. You look at a trajectory of the amount of speeches and the amount Bill Clinton was able to charge for those speeches, and it goes straight up. I mean, the amounts that he started to receive after she became Secretary of State leapfrog his initial amounts that he was commanding.
Here's what he'll say. You know, my wife was Secretary of State, and she and I spoke. No, she didn't reveal classified secrets, but I had an idea what she was doing and what was going on.
Would he say that much?
And people were willing to pay for me to share that.
Really? You think he would admit that much? That's a lot.
If he makes an argument like that,
well,
that's a dangerously close argument. But Ashley's right. They are Teflon. They don't believe the same rules apply to them as apply to the rest of us.
Judge, you can really connect the dots if we believe that these documents, which we're told are very accurate, this author, Schweitzer, of this book really went through painstaking ways to make sure that these documents, tax documents, government documents, all very clearly laid out.
Right.
Assuming all of this is true, who makes the decision whether there should be some sort of legal action?
In other words,
this is a great question.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, she could be Richard Speck killing the nurses in Chicago 25 years ago. If nobody charged them, he wouldn't be in legal trouble. If nobody charges her, if nobody investigates her, if Loretta Lynch, the likely new attorney general, does not dispatch the FBI to investigate this, Mrs. Clinton is free and clear, no matter how inappropriate or arguably unlawful her behavior has been.
Although, would that change if there was a change in the White House in 2016? I mean,
statute of limitations would not have expired. But then we have another issue. Does a successor administration want to prosecute its predecessors? That rarely happens because the new administration doesn't want to be prosecuted by its successor.
Absolutely, I got you. Well, maybe the final judge and jury would be the American voter.
They should.
That's right.
Yeah,
they should. Her supporters will support her no matter what. But the great middle. The middle in the American electorate should be scandalized.
Well, the middle here is that they made $136 million. And by the way, you talk about Wall Street not doing anything for society. You don't generate a lot of jobs when you go somewhere and give a speech. you generate a lot of cash for yourself, but you're not exactly generating a groundswell of
Charles, the irony
particularly
here is
most of them are out of this country.
The book comes out on May 5th. On that day, Bill Clinton is in Morocco trying to raise money for the foundation.
Is this a real foundation or is it a slush fund?
Yeah.